Thank you for listening to the Coins Alert again. Like always, this is Rich making another movie about XRP. So I hope everyone is having a great day today, no matter where they are in the world. Now that we're talking about XRP, let me start with this quote from David Schwartz. Today's post is from around 2017. Paying faster makes us very happy. Our plan was to make XRP an asset for payment. When funds happen quickly, it's more important that settlement happen quickly and cheaply. Our main goal in creating RippleNet Next Current was to make fast, cheap settlement more important because payments were taking too long. It's great that Swift wants to pay our bills for us. There is one less thing for us to do. Back then, David Schwartz said that because the whole process has to be quick for payment to happen quickly, and Swift isn't quick. Admit it. That's why Ripple is talking and managing payments. Regarding ISO, there will be a delay. It's worth listening to. Although the journey does not stop at migration, the process does. Migration is the start of the trip. Once that happens, we should expect a time of transition as we move from migration programs to business as usual (BAUE). But it takes time for that to happen. Therefore, you do not. I don't think the industry will reach a point where everyone is moved and then we're all in BAU. There needs to be a transitional time so that as the standard changes and mistakes are fixed, and as more people start to use it, we can see where we went wrong. Yes, for Australia. What she's saying is that mistakes will happen and need to be fixed, and that might make a wait time. The errors will probably be fixed very quickly since they are already trying this. We already know this is true for XRP on the private record. I am sure that a lot of other tests are also being done. Even if that does happen, I still think that the prices of these ISO cryptocurrencies will start to change on the first day. They're in line with ISO 222, which is why I hate calling them ISO cryptocurrencies. Here is something straight from the ISO222.org page. Can you name any cryptocurrencies that work with ISO? Cryptocurrencies are not compliant with ISO standards by nature. When it comes to ISO-compliant coins, the internet is full of confusing and false information. Although those statements are wrong, ISO does not control or record the coins. ISO is a worldwide standard for sending financial messages. It gives people who want to share financial information a shared language and structure. For handling digital token identifiers, ISO 24165 is the standard to follow. ISO standards are being used by financial institutions and payment systems, or they are in the process of being used. Cryptocurrencies, on the other hand, don't work with the regular financial system and don't follow the ISO standard by default. The blockchain networks of different cryptocurrencies each have their own methods and message formats. ISO is just a message, and Brad Garlinghouse already told us that XRP can be used to send money across borders. You could also choose to pay in XRP. That's the only thing that matters. Put it in the ISO message. Is it possible to mention crypto coins in ISO messages? Absolutely. Although they can be sent as data in ISO messages, cryptocurrencies are not yet verified. Amounts of money like EUR, USD, and others are used in the messages and checked against ISO 4217. In a future version of the ISO 222 messages, cryptography confirmation will be added. At last, there it is. They are telling you that a coin can be used in the same way that EUR or USD can be used. Does a blockchain company have to follow ISO rules? It's important to keep in mind that some cryptocurrency exchanges and payment processors may use ISO compliance for their own operations, or when they talk to standard financial systems, like banks and payment networks, to make it easier for new systems to work with old ones, and for current systems to work together. However, blockchains are not automatically compliant at the protocol level. This is how you should think about it. What does Ripple want to do? They want to connect cryptocurrency to the normal money system. That's why they follow the rules. That's why Ripple went through the steps to meet ISO standards. I hope that clears up all of your questions about ISO. Some people still think that XRP is dead if it isn't used for payments across borders. They think that it won't be used in their own country either. Listen to David Schwartz here. Payments are a huge problem that costs a lot of money, and it looks like cryptocurrencies were made to make payments better from the start. We paid extra attention to cross-border international payments, not because domestic payments are better, but because cross-border payments are the worst. Like everyone who has ever sent money abroad probably has a story about a bad experience. This means that you have to be less amazing to get better if the thing you start with is bad. Actually, I think we could be great one day and kind of take over the payments world, but that won't happen right away. So if we can't solve the biggest problem, why are we even trying? So that was kind of the first thing that was looked at. And I think that kind of attention on we really need to solve payments picked up speed between 2011 and 2014. Or if you want to think of another use case, you can think of an NFT. I want to buy it or sell it. Think about getting a loan while I pay it back. Like all of these other use cases, I want to get paid a lot, like the amount of money I borrowed. So we kind of hit it like a rocket. And the beginning was back then. Since 2014, Ripple has been able to handle funds between countries. David even said, you don't start with payments to people in your own country. It's simple. You start with payments across borders. It will be easy to make payments within the country. How about purchases that don't happen online? It comes from smoke. This means that any private central bank digital currency needs to be able to work offline. The Ripple CBDC platform has a new private ledger that uses XRP ledger technology and better features, such as the ability to do deals without a smartphone. Wallace also said, you can use XRP when you're not online. You don't need the internet, but you do need power. And I wanted to make that point clear because many people keep saying that these deals can't happen without the internet. There you have it. You don't need to be online to use XRP to pay for things. What does it mean for Bitcoin if the Fed prints more money? Now, when the Federal Reserve prints money, crypto usually does well. That's something we've seen before. Do you remember those jokes where the money printer goes brar? I wouldn't say that right now though, because Bitcoin is following the stock market even more closely than before. I believe this is because a lot of US debt ended up with Tether, which is still supporting Bitcoin. I'm still sure that crypto would pump right now if they turned on the printer. What I mean is that I don't think it will pump like it did before. Too much debt is now connected to Bitcoin through Tether and US debt. No one wants the loan any longer. China is getting rid of US debt and getting gold. Take a look at that. There is a lot of US debt that no one wants to hold on to. Not the way they used to. Going forward, even bonds are a problem. The US will need to find a better way to deal with this. They need to switch to money that is backed by gold. That's the answer. Gold is used to back up the US dollar. With a service like XRP, you can send it anywhere in the world in seconds for less than a penny. That's the way to go. I'm scared about something worse than a recession, says Ray Dalio. Listen to this. I think we need to make a choice right now because we are very close to a recession. I'm also scared of something worse than a slump. If we don't handle this well, it's always possible for the GDP to go down for 2 quarters in a row, which is what a recession is. We have something much more important. There is a breakdown of the money order. The money order is going to be changed because we can't spend the amounts of money we have. We have that when we talk about the dollar and taxes. There are big changes happening in our family life. The way government works is changing, and the world order is changing in big ways. It's a lot like the 1930s right now. I've learned about history, and this keeps happening. So if you look at tariffs, debt and rising power that challenges current power, you can see that these changes in the orders and systems are very, very upsetting. The way that is dealt with could lead to something much worse than a slump. Believe that. His thoughts might be along the lines of a sadness, but many of these people have been calling for years for a big crash or decline. I know that the US owes a lot of money, and that things are changing right now. As the world moves toward computers, the US government is being shrunk. A lot of people don't want to believe that, but it's true. Everything will be digital from now on. There is no longer any need for paper. What else needs to happen first though? There needs to be some kind of crash. Along with the tariffs, I think that the whole slump is going to make things very hard for a short time. And after that we're going to have a rough time. The new banking system is going to become more popular.